Hi, this is Andy Weinberg, Motorsports Marketing Manager for Miller. Today we had a question from Welding Luminary about welding thin material to thick material using the Dynasty 200. We'll discuss the settings of the machine and some of the techniques on how to weld the thin material to the thick material. When welding thin material to thick material, we're presented with a number of challenges. We try to weld this material without burning the thin material away and still have adequate penetration in the thicker material. The Dynasty 200 is perfect for this job because it gives us the ability to fine-tune the welding arc to where I need it. The Dynasty has the ability to give us 4 different wave shapes. To get into the advanced menu to change those wave shapes, I'm going to press my amperage button and my post flow button at the same time and then release. The first thing on your menu is going to be the tungsten size. Press the post flow adjust button one more time and it gets you into your remote triggers, and one more time into your wave shaping. Here I can adjust between advanced square wave, soft square wave, sinusoidal waveform, and the triangular waveform. For this job, I'm going to choose either an advanced square wave, which is a pure square wave, or a soft square wave. Those are the 2 waveforms that'll give us the most heat and penetration for the job. The sinusoidal waveform and the triangular waveform, especially the triangular waveform, is used mostly for thinner materials and wouldn't be applicable for this job. My settings on the Dynasty 200, I'm going to be using about 200 amps on the front panel, but I won't be using all that. I'll be fine-tuning that with the foot pedal. My balance I'm going to have set at 80%. That's a little bit higher than the factory settings. Because I'm using a fillet weld, the two base metals are actually closer together, so I'm not going to use or need as much of that cleaning effect. So at setting of 80%, that gives me 20% of cleaning and 80% of penetration. My AC frequency is going to be set at 140. That's a little bit higher than the factory setting also. That allows me to tighten the welding arc up, make it a little bit more focused so that I can position that arc where I want it. The welding technique I'm going to use when welding the thinner material to the thicker material is going to be the same, whether this is square tubing, round tubing, or flat plate in this case. The way I have my machine set up is going to give me a very directional arc. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually apply, or if you will, maybe use a little welding Kentucky windage, and I'm going to point my welding arc a little bit closer to the 1/4 inch material. The thicker material is going to take longer to heat up to the point where it's ready to be welded. And until then, I don't want to be burning the thinner material away. So once I have that thicker material starting to puddle up, I can wash it up towards the thinner material and continue to weld that joint. I won't be positioning the torch fully towards that thinner material because I still want to have some of that heat directed to the thicker material. If I fully position it towards the thinner material, I'll still risk burning the thinner material away. So in recapping, when welding the thinner material to the thicker material, starting the arc more directed towards the thicker base metal until it gets to the proper melting temperature, and then washing it up to the thinner material will help reduce the chance of burning through the thinner material first. The wave shaping of the Dynasty allows us to tighten that up and be much more directional than a standard TIG welder would. The 140 on the frequency is where I chose to put it. That's personal preference. You may want a tighter bead for a smaller weld bead. In this application, I still want a little bit wider bead profile, so I chose 140.